Okay, ready? I call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the 72nd club founded in the world. Today, our invocation will be brought by Joanne Brown, Major Gifts Officer at Lamar University, and the pledges by John Lee, Business Advisor, Lamar University Small Business Development Center. Joanne?
Greetings, everyone. During the coronavirus, when large gatherings are not permitted, the Rotary Club of Beaumont is blessed with the energy that vibrates in our Zoom meetings. Let us pause and be grateful as we open our meeting in prayer and break down the reasons for our gratitude. We gather in fellowship and will quickly evolve to use the talents and resources placed within each one of us to be of service to our community. The object and aims of Rotary Club of Beaumont are general improvement, which each member comprehends, more especially the following points. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it beneficial to all concerned? With these 4 points, God appoints us to be a beacon worldwide, to provide service to others, to promote integrity and advance the world understanding, goodwill, and peace through fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. Let us seek growth in knowledge and in culture and radiate light possible by the right exercise of any talent we possess, to aim at self-control, equipoise, and symmetry of character, and temperance in our opinions, speech, and habits. Bless our speakers today and the organizations that they lead. Carolyn Fernandez, President and CEO of Catholic Charities of Southeast Texas. Jason Moore, Commanding Officer of Salvation Army. Paula O'Neill, Executive Director, Some Other Place. We close our prayer with open hearts to hear the speakers' messages, that they will give us the determination to do all the good we can in all the ways we can, in all the places we can, at all the times we can, to all the people we can, as long as ever we can. Amen.
Okay, if you would please join me in our pledges to the U.S. and the Texas flags. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Joanne and John. Just a little bit of club business before we get started. Our District 5910 Disaster Relief Group, that is available if you want to join in for a day or more than one day. I noticed Tim Sodella went last week and did some help in Louisiana. The person to call is Ruth Schuler. She's with the Galveston Club. Jackie can hook you up with her email or her phone number if you want to join in on that with that group. And then John Lee, if you will talk about our service project coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday from 8 to 12. We're going to be building beds again for the Sleep in Heavenly Peace project. We've got about 8 people signed up right now. We could really use about double that if we want to try to beat our previous record and build more beds than anybody ever had there. So it really is fun. It's very safe. You will be wearing gloves. You'll be wearing safety glasses or goggles and a mask. And it's for a very worthy cause. So it's at 2950 Milam from 8 to noon. Last time we finished up around 11:30. So we'll probably do the same thing again, but anyone that is interested, please come out. If you want to bring a friend or you want to bring a child, you can do so. It's just for any minors, there has to be one parent per child. So please come out and help us out Saturday morning at 2950 Milam, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you, John. And our fun and fellowship socials are tomorrow. The 531 has all of its 12 slots filled, but we still have some seats available at the 11 o'clock at Jason's Deli and at the 4 o'clock at the Wheelhouse. So if you would like to join in, we need you to sign up so we know we can plan for the number of people. And Jackie has sent the link via email. Now to introduce our program, we have Deborah Drago, Executive Director, Southeast Texas Nonprofit Development Center. Deborah.
Thank you, Madam President. Every day, despite a global pandemic or natural disasters, nonprofits touch the lives of all Southeast Texans. Not only do nonprofits play a vital role in the region's economy and workforce, but they also play a huge impact in the provisions of needed services. In response to COVID-19, Southeast Texas nonprofits have stepped up without hesitation to serve our communities, safeguard public health, and support their own employees. Today, we are joined by 3 local nonprofit chief executives to participate in a panel discussion on how they continue to advance their important work during such difficult times. I have their bios. Jackie was kind enough to share some short bios about each of them. I'm going to forego their bios just for the sake of time this afternoon, since we're starting a few minutes later. But I do want to welcome Rotarian Carol Fernandez, Rotarian Captain Jason Moore, and former Rotarian Paula O'Neill this afternoon. Carol, we would love to hear about Catholic Charities.
Okay, well, it's so good to see all of you. It's been a long time since I've been in person or even on a virtual meeting, so very good to see everyone across the Zoom cameras here. And thank you for the invitation to be able to talk about Catholic Charities today. So Catholic Charities of Southeast Texas, I always like to start by saying we are Catholic with the big C, yes, in terms of our faith. We are a faith-based organization, but we're Catholic with the little c in that we are universal. And so you don't have to be Catholic to be a client, to be a staff member, to be a volunteer. So we welcome all to share in the work of Catholic Charities or to benefit from the programs and services that we offer. Primarily, we focus on low to moderate income residents across 9 counties, and those counties include Chambers, Jasper, Jefferson, Liberty, Newton, Orange, Polk, and Tyler. One of our goals is to provide everyone the opportunity to make their lives better. And so through our 7 programs, we do hope that we are helping accomplish that. And so we have a soup kitchen in Port Arthur that serves a meal every day, a hot meal every day. And then also the guests are able to leave with a sack lunch so they can have a supplemental meal during the day. We have a social justice and advocacy program. Elijah's Place is our grief support program for children ages 5 to 18. We also offer immigration legal services. ABC is our asset building case management program that offers financial and homebuyer education, free income tax preparation, one-on-one case management for those families that might need a bit more help with managing their budget or credit repair. Through that program, we have a HUD certified housing counselor, and also through the Catholic Charities USA network, we are a HUD approved housing counseling agency. Our news program is Market to Hope, with HOPE being an acronym for Help Other People Eat. It is a grocery store model food pantry. And then we have, last but not least for sure, is our disaster response and emergency assistance program. When we are not in responding to a natural disaster, emergency assistance helps those families who are having a temporary emergent situation or hardship that requires some help with rent or utilities or food. And then disaster response, Catholic Charities is not a first responder, but we are early responders. And so we come in to offer relief services and then also following up with long-term recovery at work. So for example, we are still involved in working with response to Tropical Storm Imelda from last year, from Hurricane Harvey back in 2017, and even the floods that happened in March of 2016. So definitely involved in the long-term recovery work for disaster response. So that's a brief overview of our programs.
Thanks, Carol. Jason, would you share about Salvation Army Beaumont?
Yes, thank you. And I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this conversation. We really appreciate the collaboration that we're a part of in the community. The Salvation Army was established in 1865, as many of you know, but the Salvation Army came to Beaumont in 1901. And so we've been here in the community quite a while, and the Salvation Army has experienced a lot of the work that happens between the Salvation Army and other nonprofits, and we've been just so very glad to be a part of the work here. In coming here in 1801, the Salvation Army has tried to meet the needs of the less fortunate that receive assistance from the Salvation Army throughout the year through the broadest array of social services that range from providing food for the hungry, relief for the disaster victims, assistance for the disabled, outreach to the elderly and ill, clothing and shelter to the homeless. We have a feeding program and opportunities for underprivileged children, and you'll see that the work that we do through our after-school program at the Boys and Girls Club and our summer day program at the Boys and Girls Club as well. 82 cents of every dollar spent is used to carry out those services in the Jefferson community.
Thank you, Jason. Finally, Paula, would you mind sharing a little bit about some other place?
I'll be delighted. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? First of all, let me just say it's a real pleasure to be back with you all on Wednesday. It's been several years since I was active in the Beaumont Rotary Club. I miss you folks, but once I reached the age where I could retire, I did. And working on doing that here. It is a pleasure to be with you today to explain to you and share with you the work of Some Other Place. Some Other Place was founded in 1968, and it is Beaumont's ecumenical mission and urban ministry. We are here since 1968 to serve as we can those who come to us who, for whatever reason, cannot receive assistance elsewhere. Our biggest program is our emergency service program, and it is the program that addresses the basic needs of families that come to us each day. They can't pay their rent, they can't pay their utilities, they can't purchase their medication, they can't provide food or clothing for their families. You never know one day to the next what we're going to address. So it's whatever they need, whatever needs that they may be having, we try to serve as we can. We service only North Jefferson County. There are other ecumenical missions like Some Other Place throughout Southeast Texas that serve the neighbors in their neighborhoods. And we're here primarily for those who live in the immediate Beaumont area. We also have several programs. We have a soup kitchen that feeds 7 days a week. We have a day center for the homeless that provides a breakfast every morning, as well as services to the homeless that are definitely a growing population, unfortunately, in our community. And we are there to try to help in any way we can to make sure that their lives are as comfortable as they're able to be. I tell people all the time that we're somewhat a humane society for humans, where we try to meet their basic needs and then assist them in whatever way we can to address needs that they may have in order to find housing, to find employment, to obtain benefits, to do things that will necessitate them in order to get off the streets. We have several programs throughout the year, our special programs. Of course, with COVID, things have been changed a little bit this year, but we're in the midst of our back to school program, whenever the children go back to school, as well as holiday assistance programs that will be coming up later in the year. We are supported solely by the local community, and it's with the help of the membership of Rotary as well as Beaumont residents that we are able to serve as we can. So we're delighted to be here with you today to share with you the work that we're doing and the needs that we are having.
Thanks, Paula. You might want to, when you're not speaking. Thanks. So nonprofits across the world have changed their operations or services so they can more directly support the COVID-19 response. We would appreciate hearing how COVID-19, now coupled with another natural disaster, has changed the way your organization provides services. Jason, we'll start with you.
Well, I want to say it's been interesting and a learning experience. We're serving safely by following CDC Health Department and Salvation Army safety guidelines. Being essential, we've stayed open to the physical public throughout the pandemic so far. We've made adjustments and modifications to 3 services, the shelter, the feeding program, and Boys and Girls Club. Our shelter is serving at 50% capacity so that we have a space to quarantine any potentially infected shelter guests. Our feeding program feeds outside of the building, and we provide to-go boxes for community participants. The Boys and Girls Club staff delivers USDA meals to children of low-income families, and we also served 25% of the normal capacity for our day campers in the summer of 2020 in our gym. And that was very interesting because we had some parents that chose not to send their kids because they were fearful of their kids becoming infected and then bringing it home to the parents or through guardians that are elderly grandparents. The after-school program plan this year will, in the fall, consist of serving about the same percentage as we did in the summer, and maybe we may increase it just a little bit based on changes in the CDC guidelines, and we still hope to serve kids virtually and by phone.
Thanks, Jason. Paula, any thoughts or changes that some other place has had to make in response to COVID-19?
Well, it goes without saying that there have been changes. COVID-19 has presented everyone with challenges that we've never had to face before. And unfortunately, the majority of our volunteers are in the at-risk age range for COVID-19, although I must say that many of them continue to come. We have not missed a day as a result of COVID-19 of serving meals. We did miss a few days when we had the mass evacuation for Hurricane Laura, but we continue to serve. We are using technology, which, as y'all can see, we're not really experienced that. But we are trying to do as much as we can virtually and over the telephone and via email and everything. We have been blessed or cursed, we're not real sure which, to receive wonderful funding from the City of Beaumont as well as Regional Planning Commission to help people that have been affected financially by COVID-19. So we have been able to help people maintain their homes as well as their utility services. But some places don't really experience it working with the government and the requirements that we're having to meet in order to make sure that we are helping the right people has been a real challenge for us. But I think we're all wishing that 2020 would just kind of fade away. We're all prayerful that 2021 will be a better year for everyone. But needless to say, it has definitely affected our ability to serve the masses. We are doing takeout meals. We are doing takeout breakfast. We are doing using appointments at Henry's Place, our day center for the homeless, to come in and shower and wash their clothes and to visit with the counselor. So we're not able to see the masses as we have in the past, but in order to protect those we serve, as well as ourselves and our volunteers, we have kind of had to tweak the way that we provide the services that we provide. So we will all be glad to see COVID-19 disappear, and we're just so grateful that we've not had any severe illnesses. And in fact, well, I'm not going to brag, but no positive tests just as of yet. So we have been blessed.
Thanks, Paula. Carol, changes in programs and services at Catholic Charities? Make sure you unmute, Carol.
Sorry about that. Yes. That mute thing would be nice to turn off, right? So similar to what Paula and Captain Moore have shared, you know, of course, we've had to make changes, but I think for all three of our agencies, we're just like any other business, you know, to make sure that we need to be in compliance with local ordinances, following the CDC recommendations, so that we are safeguarding the health of our staff, volunteers, and our clients. So initially, we focused on only essential services, so our feeding programs, the hospitality center, and Market to Hope. And just like Paula mentioned, you know, with volunteers, we had a significant drop in volunteers because everybody was concerned about exposure. And so with that, we transitioned a number of our staff to help out with those two programs. As we are increasing the opening, then we are transitioning back to bringing our other programs online. And to do that, just as Paula was saying, we're utilizing technology as much as possible. So we'll do intakes, as much of that by phone with clients first, having Zoom meetings, whether that's with clients or with our staff meetings, also looking into Zoom gatherings for and webinars for our financial education classes and other online education classes that can be offered. Our soup kitchen is offering only to-go meals. We used to have a dine-in service where it would offer some relief from the temperatures, right, where people could come in from the heat or the cold, but right now those meals are only to go. And we continue to just serve by appointment only and no walk-in services. So that is a bit of a challenge for homeless families that come around our main list, our main office, the homeless individuals that would come for food each day. And so we haven't been offering that. And we're doing, like other businesses too, staggering work schedules for our staff so that everybody's not in any of our offices at any one time, and then alternating between remote and in-office work activities. So.
Thanks, Carol.
You're welcome.
So, you know, we always hear nonprofits do not have the resources to respond to a continuous increase in need. And as we've heard from all three of you, you know, that need seems to be continually increasing, or really to stay afloat during a prolonged crisis. Jason, is the Salvation Army Beaumont finding it challenging to fulfill its mission due to the widespread impact of the pandemic and then now Hurricane Laura?
Yes, I think one of the biggest challenges is that we are not able to give out the big hugs that we like to give out, and we're having to keep our distance at 6 feet. But But we're adapting and making sure that we continue to serve in the appropriate capacity despite the impacts of the pandemic and disasters. The Salvation Army has a history of serving the community who seem to be hurting the most and maybe suffering due to a pandemic and or disaster, even more than they were during during times of usual times. In American history, you'll note that the Salvation Army's presence in post-Civil War time, World War I, the Spanish flu pandemic, the Salvation Army was active in the community. Also, during the Great Depression, World War II, and so on and so on. Like you'll see in other nonprofit organizations, volunteers and employees and leaders are still rolling up their sleeves, and we try to work as hard as we can as a team to be as effective as possible, even with all the restrictions and having to adjust to what's happening in our world today.
Thank you, Jason. So, I think all three of you have referenced employees and your workforce. Nonprofits rely on hardworking employees and volunteers to carry out their missions and meet community needs. Paula, you did mention about your staff, your volunteer workforce. How has your staff and volunteer workforce been impacted as a result of COVID or really back-to-back natural disasters?
Well, some of the places we're so very blessed to have such dedicated staff that have to be dedicated to work here for what we're able to pay them. But they've been here. We did have one scare with one of our employees, and so for a few days we kind of staggered coming in and being around each other. But the staff has been loyal, faithful, and been here. Volunteers, as I said earlier, most of our volunteers are in the at-risk age range. They are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Today we have a 92-year-old lady that comes on Wednesdays to help out. And it was amazing. The very first time that COVID was mentioned, one of our couples came in and she said, I'm really not comfortable. They deliver meals for us for our home delivered meal program. And I told her, I said, if you're not comfortable, then you don't need to be here. And when I said that, I thought, oh, Paula, you probably shouldn't have said that. But guess what? The next day they were back. Anyway, and so the volunteers we have been so dedicated. There have been some, and I certainly do not blame them, because we certainly would feel so terrible if anybody that volunteered here became in contact with here. But we're trying to keep our volunteers at a distance. We're practicing the social distancing. We're wearing our masks. We are washing our hands. Hand sanitizer is abundant everywhere. So we're doing what we can. But it's definitely affected us, and we've been a little bit concerned about if they'll come back. They've been so dedicated for so long, and then when they take this break and realize that they don't have to get out in the bad weather or don't have to come down and do some of the hard work we ask them. And so we're just very prayerful that they will come back and that we will be able to continue to serve as we can. And new volunteers are slower in coming in than in the past, but I just have faith that eventually we'll get back up to full staff whenever it's safe for everyone.
Thanks, Paula. So Carol, as a sector that heavily relies on the generosity of others to financially support our missions, do you anticipate significant changes in revenue because of COVID-19 / natural disasters, plural?
Right. Most definitely. I mean, there's not a question about that. And we've already observed that. One thing that I've noted is that we have more designated donations and grants. specific to the basic needs type programs, the feeding, hospitality center, Market to Hope. And then now with Hurricane Laura, those designated donations for disaster response and work that's specific to Hurricane Laura. So definitely we'll see changes. There's also changes from a funding level from our government. So yes, we do rely greatly on the charitable donations from individuals and businesses. But another large part of our funding source, and I believe this is true for all three of our agencies, is money that comes through the federal government. So, there is money that has been made available through the CARES Act, through Community Development Block Grant Funds under HUD, and then also under the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. And again, I believe that all of these three programs represented today are receiving funding from either one or both of those sources to help with providing financial assistance to those in need. And that's really important because when we are potentially seeing some decreases in charitable giving from individuals, then these federal dollars do help to supplement that. And it's just a good example of that public-private partnership where our federal government recognizes that nonprofits do a very efficient job at administering services to individuals and families in need. So we definitely do see changes coming in the revenue, and yes, because of COVID and also because of the disaster.
Thanks, Carol. Okay, this is my last question, and I'm going to address each of you to guarantee that Southeast Texas nonprofits have the capacity, resources, and flexibility to serve our communities now and well beyond COVID-19, and hopefully that will be sooner rather than later. How can businesses and individuals help? We'll start with you, Paula.
Well, first and foremost, and I think my other two panelists will agree with this, we covet your prayers. We covet your prayers for those of us that are on the front line working, the people who live in our community that are in need. We covet your prayers for them. I will say that as a result of COVID-19, we are seeing people coming to us for assistance that we've never seen before. These are people that have never had to ask for help, but because their hours have been cut, because they've been furloughed, because some have been terminated due to COVID-19, they're having to ask for help, and it's really been an eye-opener for me and for us to see, how many people there are that do live on the margin. So we would ask for your prayer support. We would ask for you to continue to remember the work that all three of us do. We aren't here, Carol mentioned that we do get government grants, but we are here because of the support of the local community. And without the support of us, primarily with our church support, our congregational support from our member churches and the members of those churches, we would not be here. And we would not be here to be able to receive the grants that we receive. So we would just ask that everyone be mindful that there are a lot of people in our community right now that are struggling. Some that struggle all the time. Some that are struggling merely because of COVID-19, some that have been so negatively affected by natural disasters. There's just a lot of people in our community that are struggling, and they need not only our financial support, but they also need our spiritual support to keep them afloat, to keep them strong, to keep them going, and to be able at some point in time not to be assistance from anyone else to meet their basic needs. We appreciate the opportunity to come and share with Rotary. Many of your members are so supportive of the three of us, and we are very, very grateful for the support we get that allows us to serve the people that we serve. But just don't forget us.
Thank you, Paula. Carol, how can the community help you and your organization?
And so I just have to really go back to what Paula just said. First and foremost, just the prayers from the whole community, especially those of us here in Rotary who can lend that prayerful support. That is truly the most significant gift that anyone could give to us. But, you know, the gifts of time, talent, and treasure, right? We all need that. And so I'd just like to say, you know, whatever your passion is individually, or, you know, for your businesses, to just stay out there. If you're already out there working and volunteering, and if you're not, to get back out there, because it's needed across the board. And so those gifts of time, talent, and treasure are needed just all over for all the nonprofits that are serving our community.
Absolutely. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
Finally, Jason, where can your
Okay.
organization use some help?
Hey, I want to say first ditto to what Paula and Carol has said already. If anyone wants to serve in person, and I know that takes courage, it's risky, but if anyone feel that they're being called to serve in person at this time, we need cooks, volunteer cooks at the shelter. We also need those who are able to help with homework, because I think our kids are falling behind. And so we need mentors and people that are able to assist with homework at our Boys and Girls Club after school program. Also, for those that can walk through our store and do live streaming as they are purchasing items from the thrift store. Because that is a funding source and stream for us. And so we really want to make sure that we have the funding that we need to take care of our community. And that's one way that we provide funding. Also, we need anyone that is able to advertise for us on their Facebook, that our thrift store is open and that the proceeds are, you know, go to our Boys and Girls Club and our shelter and social service programs. You're welcome to advertise for us. Thank you.
Well, I want to tell all three of you, thank you, Carol, Jason, and Paula, for sharing your passions and expertise with our membership today, but especially for the work that you do for our community. Madam President, I'll turn it over to you to open Q&A.
Thank you, Deborah. We have some time. If anybody has some questions, you can ask them out loud or put it in the chat.
This is Chuck Mason. So often in the past, when we've had emergencies in our area, we've had people from Salvation Army come from other areas. Obviously, the pandemic is disaster every place. How is it happening? How is it affecting y'all nationally and even internationally? Salvation Army.
I think that was that for Salvation Army. I heard part of it. How are we being affected internationally, nationally, and locally? Or
Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I think for the Salvation Army, because there's so many things going on. You know, the wildfires affect us, the hurricanes, and any other natural disasters that are happening in local communities across the nation affect all of us, because we are, we all depend and rely on each other to, you know, for funding and also for other resources that we share. And so and especially we share the human resource of volunteers across the nation, because people come from all over when there's a disaster here in Beaumont. And so we didn't have nearly as many that would have come for Hurricane Laura, because they were serving in other ways across the nation, and other, obviously with the pandemic, people are fearful too about serving in person and up close. But we have been so fortunate, so blessed to receive the help that we received in the past, and those that were able to give out of their time talents and monetary resources, we had exactly what we needed. And I want to say that I'm very proud to be a Rotarian, because I tell you, Rotary really stepped up and helped us serve those that were affected the most in Orange County and Lake Charles. Because, like I say, we try to help not just the local community where we serve as the Salvation Army officers, but we also try to cross boundary lines into other areas and territories and help as much as we can, in the nation. So thank you, Rotarians, for being so kind and generous with your resources and time.
Thank you, Jason.
Are there any other questions? It was so good to hear from you all today. I mean, you're such a gift to our community, and what you do for those that are struggling and those that just need a helping hand. It is just really inspiring to see how day in and day out, you're just always there. I'm so fortunate to live in Southeast Texas because we have so many good things that go on here. Humanity in action. You see it all the time, and I thank you so much, my friends. It was so good to see y'all today. And hopefully, as Rotarians, we can give you our time, our talent, and our treasures. I can't cook for you though, Jason. Sorry, I was talking about that at the beginning. It's not my skill. But I appreciate all those people who can cook. In your honor, we will be making a donation to Rotary International in each of your names, and that money goes for great projects around the world. So thank you all three for joining us today, and I just wish you all the best in keeping on, doing what you do for those in our community that need a little help. Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Stephen McKernan, and he is going to tell us about the new school, the osteopathic medicine at Sam Houston State University. So that is a new school coming in. We'll be interested in hearing from him. And tomorrow, the Rotary Socials. We have 3 throughout the day. If you haven't signed up, please look at your email and sign up for one. And also, we will have a board of directors meeting next Tuesday via Zoom. If you would like to join in that meeting, just get in touch with Jackie and she can send you the link. In closing, thank you all for attending the meeting today. We're going to go out with the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second, is
Is
it
it
fair
fair
to
to all concerned?
Concerned.
Third, will it build
Will build goodwill and better friendships.
And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good week. Go out and find opportunities to lead and to serve. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you. Y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a great day.
Great discussion, Paula.
Oh, that was good.
Deborah, Jason. Good job. Deborah, you did well. Man.
You did well. You're very touching. It just gets me that there's so many people that need food.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Thank you. You were great, Deborah. You had some comments about how good you were in the chat.
I could take a bow.
Please take a bow. I thought you were awesome. Okay, we'll see. Well, good luck tomorrow at your 5:30 dinner.
Yep. So Sherry said she was going to pick up. Hey, Jackie, how big are the things you're making?
About 8 inches.
Are they circular? Are they square?
It's the logo.
It's a table tent, isn't it?
Wheel.
Oh, it's a wheel that sits on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a base and a pole.
Okay. Oh, are you providing a base and a pole?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I was trying to think of something fun and creative. I haven't thought of it yet. I was trying to, so.
These are all the same, all alike, and reusable if we do this again.
Okay. Sounds perfect.
Okay, thank you, everybody.